Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, let's talk something a little bit about prepping here for a little bit. Yesterday, I got 8 different emails from some of you guys about a video that David Dubine, Adapt 2030, put up. And I was like, okay, something's going on. I wanted to go watch this. Now, I'm going to give you this. David and I have talked before. I mean, we interviewed each other or whatever, if you saw that, maybe about 2 years ago. Somebody I have the greatest amount of respect for. David really knows his stuff. And he put this video up, and he mentioned about, could we expect power outages in a couple of weeks? And my first thought was, oh crap, what's the latest on the Biden administration doing something to mess with the Trump inauguration? Okay. I mean, we know all the stories, like I talked about this morning, about bird flu. There's stories on 4 pandemics or 4 plagues are going to be released on the American public on January 21st, amazingly the day after inauguration. And I'm like, oh crap, what's going on now? And then I watched it, and it's something that I do talk about. I just talked about a few days ago about being ready for what's about to come, whether or not people pay attention to it. Now, today's December 30th. We are, 10 days into winter now. And gee, shocker, it gets cold in the winter, right? And everybody's kind of used to the areas that they live in. If you live in Montana or North Dakota or something like that, or Buffalo, upstate Michigan, you're used to tons and tons of snow and cold, right? And depending on where you are, maybe not so much. I've said to you guys, I've now lived in this house for nearly 6 years, and we've had one snow, if you will, in 6 years that stayed on the ground for more than 24 hours. Okay. We had one that made it through a day, but it was gone by evening. But one time in 6 years, we had a decent amount of snow. Okay. But then you look at what's going on right now. Well, here today, it's supposed to be 58 degrees. It's a nice day. I'm going to go outside and work in the yard a little bit. Tomorrow is supposed to be 54. And then all of a sudden, everything drops. Now, if you guys are like me, you're experiencing the same thing I am, which is a whole hell of a lot of rain. And it's not supposed to, I don't want to say stop. We're going to have rain, spotty rain, snow here by the weekend. It's going to be wet. And then all of a sudden, the bottom drops out. And where I say that is in regards to temperatures. Now I want you to look at something. This is the forecast as of this morning, and obviously we know what weather prognosticators about how accurate they are. This will probably change 6 more times before the end of the day. But you take a look at what the temperature is supposed to be for me here between the 7th and the 11th. All right. The 33 during the day, the 31, those are normal. But now you start looking at that 9 degree, 10 degree, 12 degree temperatures overnight. Okay? I remember a couple of years ago, we had the ice that we got here, and I couldn't leave my house for 8 days. People, oh, why couldn't you? Because there's a steep hill that comes out of here that is in the shade that 8 days later, this thing was still a solid sheet of ice. Nobody could get up it. Nobody could get down with it. It's about a 7-degree grade. Forget it. On a curve. You're not going down that on ice and not winding up in the trees somewhere. So I took a look around. I said, all right, let's take a look here to see what the whole country looks like and how bad this cold spell is going to hit us. And I saw this map. And this, if you look here in the purple, This is where we are supposed to have significantly below normal temperatures. Okay. Now, the average winter temperature in my area is around 40, just to give you that idea. So 9 is significantly below the norm, all right? But you look, and that covers 40% of the country. I mean, everywhere from Montana to the panhandle of Florida is going to have significantly below normal temperatures. All right, so let's take a look and see how bad this is for me and where we are. This is for me, and you guys can go look this up for yourself. These are the average lowest temperatures of the year, wherever you are. Put it in by zip code. If you look, if we're supposed to get down to 9, there aren't a whole lot of winters since the century started, the 21st century, that we've been down this low. You've only got 3 in 24 years. Okay. It's gonna get cold. I'm in Tennessee. All right. You know, if I go and take a look at the suburbs of Chicago, we can take a look at these temperatures. Oh, gee, it's going to get down to 3. It's going to get down to 4 to 5 to 6. It's going to be cold, but it's Chicago. All right. So let's take a look at Atlanta. All right, Atlanta. How do you like 15-degree days, 18-degree days? Yeah. You're going to get right to freezing, thereabouts. Maybe some of it thaws out. But again, I'm going to say the same thing. How much is, or how accurate is the weather forecaster? You have microclimates. We've talked about this. 30, 31, not freezing or not thawing. 33, maybe. Now what do you have? You get patchy ice. This is where we need to start taking a look at this. And now that we have 10, 12 days advance notice, and this is where I think David's right on this, is make your preparations now. If you are down south, checking the insulation on your pipes to make sure your pipes don't freeze. There's a good idea. Starting your generator. Make sure, have you started your generator recently in case the power does go out? Do you have gas? Is the gas old in the generator? Is it all gummed up? Oh crap, I need to clean it out. It's a lot easier to do when it's 50, 55 degrees outside than when you're trying to fix a generator and it's 3 degrees. Okay. Have you got the leaves out of your gutters? Hey, there's a thought, because now if we get a whole bunch of water that turns into ice, now you're going to wind up having those huge icicles, or you're going to start having water come back into the house and rot your roof. That's not a good thing. What if the power does go out, like David talked about? Have you made the plans for your heat? I'm thinking at this point, by late December, the end of December, anybody that is heating with wood probably has plenty of wood split, because you're not going out cutting trees now, nice green wood and everything. So you've probably got that done. But as wet as it's been outside, have you moved it under cover? Have you brought it to the front porch? Have you put it in the garage or the shed or something, so you have dry wood for your wood stove, your fireplace, or whatever? Because it looks like here, 2 weeks from now, 10 days from now, thereabouts, we're going to be needing a lot more heat. Oh, you heat with propane. Is your propane tank full? I'm hoping it is, okay? Or natural gas, or for those of you in New England, your heating oil. I'm assuming you've got something that's probably taken care of. Might want to just check. Have you got a wall heater like I do that you probably haven't used since last year? Backup heater. Have you tested it? Make sure it works. Just saying. Okay. Yes, I've tested mine. Okay. There's a whole lot of things to do. You're at work. Do you have, depending again on where you live, do you have a shovel in the car? Do you have kitty litter or rock salt in the car in case you get stuck on ice, or your car is at work all day and all of a sudden the parking lot's a sheet of ice and you can't you're spinning your tires trying to get out? Can you do that? Do you have what I've said many times, gloves, boots, scarves, hats, coat in the car? Because if it's cold and you break down, or there's a breakdown on the highway and you're sitting there, you might want to make sure that's taken care of. Certainly going into the 6th, 7th, depending on where you are. I mean, obviously, if you're further west, this will happen a little earlier. Okay. Make sure the car's full of gas, because you don't want to be sitting on the road and can't go forward, can't go backward because somebody slid off the road or semi-jackknifed or something and you need to turn around. Yeah. We've got a weather event coming. We know in advance, just like we always know about hurricanes in advance or anything like that. And we all laugh about the people that the 11th hour are trying to go out and buy plywood for the hurricane. You know, it's like, oh, it's going to hit in 3 hours. I need plywood. Yeah, should have done this 2 weeks ago, right? This is the same story. This is 40% of the country that's going to get hit with that cold. Yes, I know it's winter. Yes, Montana, the Dakotas, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, you guys are used to this. The people that live a little bit further south in my area, Atlanta, Florida, they're not. And they don't think as much about insulating pipes, for example, leaving the water on to drip, keep some sort of flow through it. It's one of those things that I say all the time. Learn from what's happened in the past. We all remember what happened to the people in Texas a few years ago when they got drilled with cold and there was no electricity. What happens if this system that is expected to come through, like David talked about, knocks out the electricity for hours, for days, for weeks? As David talks about, and I'll link his video below if you want to go watch it. There's not a whole lot of, gee, we'll get power from the next state over or something like that. This is a little big for that. Remember how Texas was scrambling for that. And remember what we were hearing, they were paying for the power to get the electricity on, and people were going, I'm getting $100, $200 a day electric bill because that's what it was costing. Make your preparations now. Even if you need to go buy a generator, gas, solar, dual fuel, whatever, okay, propane, do it now. Don't wait until the 6th when the media is saying, we're going to have a huge cold spell tomorrow and there's brownouts and everything's possible. And, then there's a mad rush on Tractor Supply or Home Depot to go get a generator. Go get it now if you don't have one. You want a solar generator. Okay, obviously, in this weather, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of solar charging, but you can still use it as a battery bank and charge the power off your AC in the house, so you've got the battery there and you can use it. Okay. Go take advantage of some of those sales that are still going on. Go on eBay. Go see, if find something cheaper there, maybe. Do something. I'm just giving you the word of warning. A bunch of you guys asked me about this. Said, what did I think about David's video? I think he's right. I'm not saying it's going to be, oh my God, we're going to be without power for 2 weeks, but I don't know. We could be. Again, we're preppers. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.